Just bear with me a second. For those of you who are tuning in, I'd like to know if you can hear me fine, if you can see the video fine. I would appreciate it. Before I get started, I want to make sure that everything is okay. There were some technical difficulties just a few minutes ago when I tried to do this. Someone told me it was buffering. So I see that I have at least one viewer. If you can let me know if the sound is fine, if the video is fine, I would appreciate it. For the people that are tuning in, can you let me know if the sound is okay? Can you all hear me fine? Just throw up a 7 if everything is okay. And then I'll proceed with the content. Shout out to Real Aaron Collins. Shout out to John Pro. Shout out to Def Rocker. Okay, so everything's good. So I noticed that a couple of YouTubers were talking about this person by the name of CJ King. And I didn't watch their videos yet. I will go back and watch them after this. But I said, well, why are these people talking about this guy? What's happening? What's the controversy? So I went on to Google and I searched this guy's name to find out why is everybody talking about him. And I saw this article from the Grio, and I'll post that article in the description box after this video uploads. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some excerpts from this article, and I want to hear from you all as well. What do you think about this particular article? I'm sure by now many of you have already heard about it, but I'm going to go ahead and read from the article and then just share some of my thoughts about it. And then I really want to hear from you all about what you think. So it talks about how a black male law school graduate went viral after posting something on Instagram. And the brother posted a picture of him in his graduation gown and everything, a graduation outfit, and he's posing and everything. And you will see it when you read the article. And in his post, he says this. He says, now that I'm JD'd, I've entered into a new arena of black men. In this arena, I'm the prize now. Don't just take my word for it, though. And before you kill me in the comments, let me drop some stats for your ass quick so you can see my point. Black women outnumber black men by 2 million. Black women don't want to deal with a black man who's gay, down low, has baby mama issues, or has a felony conviction record in jail, which collectively is a large percentage of our race, unfortunately. So it goes on to say, hold on once. Oh, and then it says statistically, 37% of black men are in jail, while a third of black men have some form of criminal record. Now, for the sake of this particular video, I'm just going to assume that these stats are correct. I don't have time to research all those issues and stuff, research those stats. But I do know that there are disparities in terms of the number of black men that graduate from college and the number of black men in jail, just in general. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to assume that everything that he's saying is correct. And then it goes on to say this. It says that black women typically don't want to date down and prefer to have a black man that's on the same playing field as her or higher. Well, statistically, only 7% of black men are professionals. With this massive criteria that black women don't want to date a black man, they've essentially drastically limited the dating pool of viable black men that the majority of black women are currently after, which means everyone doesn't get picked, and statistically, 70% of black women go unmarried. You see where I'm going here? And then it goes on to say that additionally, black women want their mates to be attractive, have some form of edge, style, to be exciting, and not a lame. And I know all that is subjective, but everyone doesn't have these so-called X factors, which lowers the number of viable men even lower. So with me now gaining access into this very small percentage of black men that are young, for the record, I'm under 30 with 2 degrees, single and attractive, are heterosexual, have no criminal record, no baby mama drama, and have some form of high paying career potential. The majority of black women are competing against each other for. And then he goes on to say, you tell me who's the real prize here. Yeah, he's not a celebrity or anything, Def Rocker. He's somebody that a lot of people are talking about because he posted this thing on Instagram and it's generated a lot of discussion about relationships. And there are a couple of things that I want to say real quick about this. Number one, like an individual is not really defined by what kind of degree they have. You know, of course, it's great for somebody to have higher education and stuff like that, you know, to get their degrees in whatever field it is. But that alone doesn't define somebody. It doesn't necessarily define whether or not they are a decent human being or they're a good spouse and stuff like that. That is a superficial thing. Like what kind of degree somebody has is some exterior quality about that person. It says nothing about their character. It says nothing about their personality. And often it doesn't even say much about their intellect because a lot of people that don't have these degrees and all that kind of stuff are just, you know, could be way more intelligent than somebody that's all lettered and has all these degrees and can say they went to this school and that school. So that's one thing. Like, in the fact that you have somebody that's defining their own worth based on their graduation from a law school, I mean, I think that that's pretty lame and pathetic. You know, he should have, you know, if he views himself as a prize, he should have viewed himself as a prize before he got his law degree. I mean, just because you get a degree alone, that doesn't make you like some kind of prize in and of itself. And then, you know, he talked about a lot of black women and these dating standards that some of them have where they don't want to date certain people that have certain backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. We know that in our reality, plenty of black women are open to different options, so they don't just limit themselves to the educated black men that went to law school and this and that. Um, you know, they date men that may have a criminal record, some of them. And just because somebody has a criminal record, that doesn't mean they can't turn their life around. And just because somebody doesn't have a degree, that doesn't mean that they are lacking as a human being or even as a partner and stuff. So a lot of these things that he was talking about, like, and then, you know, he mentioned the baby mama drama. There are plenty of women that date and marry men that have children from past relationships. So this criteria that he's talking about, like there are many women that aren't really into like that rigid definition of what a quality man is. And just having a degree alone doesn't make somebody a quality person. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good person. And then, you know, the fact that he would flaunt his degree and, you know, to boast about being some kind of prize, that tells you a lot about his, like how shallow he is as a person. It tells you a lot about how arrogant he is as well. Like for a lot of women, that's a major turnoff. And, you know, I posted this on my Facebook page and some women were like, you know, this guy is a loser with a law degree and stuff like that. And it's not, uh, it has nothing to do with anything other than the attitude and the arrogance that he has. You know, you know, the boasting about being some kind of prize and stuff like that. It's up to the women to determine who's a prize and who's not a prize. It's not for somebody to be boasting about being a prize and all that kind of stuff. And it's good to be self-confident and stuff like that. You know, obviously people should be confident, you know, have some kind of pride in themselves and stuff and confidence. But the thing is, when you boast about being some kind of prize and stuff like that, you're crossing the threshold of confidence into the land of being arrogant. And for many people, that's a turnoff, you know. And, you know, this guy didn't talk about like any of his other traits that make him a prize or whatever, you know, other than these superficial things, you know, what he looks like and, you know, the fact that he doesn't have any children and this and that. those things are important. You know, obviously it's important to be a provider and stuff like that, and having a degree and stuff like that makes it easier for you to be a provider. But that stuff alone doesn't make you necessarily the best person for somebody. You know, individuals have different traits that make them match with other individuals. You know, compatibility is a factor, like whether or not somebody's personality is compatible, you know, whether or not their disposition or their vibe or even just chemistry alone is compatible. So this idea that suddenly because somebody has a law degree that every woman is going to be chasing after them is ridiculous. And then, you know, and it's this kind of mindset that a lot of people have that, you know, helps to further this notion that, you know, some black women have to where they want to, you know, say, well, that is more reason for black women to exercise their dating options and date outside of the race and swirl and all that kind of stuff. Um, and I'm sure uh, there are some women on here using this just for that purpose to talk about it, like how this is why black women need this world and stuff. And then, you know, another point that I want to make real quick before I go to your comments is that is this: does a man do you really want to have someone be all into you just based on your status, like based on the fact that you have a degree, or because you're some lawyer in some fancy law firm? Do you really want that to be the foundation of your relationship with a woman? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I definitely don't. I would rather a woman love me for who I am and not based on like what kind of job I have or what kind of degree I have. It should be bigger than that. Like it should be about who you are as a person, because things like jobs and status can go in no time. You know, anything can happen to anybody. And at the end of the day, it's about who you are, you know, the core of who you are, your soul, you know, what kind of person you are, what kind of human being you are. So those are my thoughts about this, you know, and you know, it's just interesting. It's real interesting, and you know, as an attorney, this actually like hits home to some degree because, like, you know, I was in you know, the position of that he's talking about. Like when I first graduated from law school, 26 years old, fresh out of law school, no kids and all that kind of stuff. You know, so but I wasn't like thinking, oh, I'm some kind of, you know, all the women gonna be after me because of this. And then it's like, who would want that? Who would want somebody that's just after you because of that? But anyway, you know, those are my thoughts about this particular issue. I'm gonna check out what you all have to say real quick before I sign off. I want to thank you all for tuning in. You know, I appreciate your support. But let's see what you all are saying real quick before I sign out. Yeah, thanks for letting me know that everything was fine. Shout out to John Pro. Shout out to Real Aaron Collins. Shout out to Def Rocker. Shout out to Ghost Rider. Thanks for tuning in. So John Pro said CJ King is delusional. Too many black women routinely date down, not up, and they're comfortable dating down. Yeah, I mean that's definitely true. Like, I mean, if you consider it dating down, yeah, I mean there are plenty of educated black women, for instance, who date men that don't have college degrees. You know, there are plenty of women that date men that have, you know, children by multiple baby mothers. You know, that's not new, and we all know this stuff. There are plenty of black women that date men that have criminal records. So this idea that black women are only looking for somebody that's fit in this category is ridiculous. But you know, obviously there are some black women that, you know, some black women that are like that, that just want to date somebody that has a certain status, a certain degree, and all that kind of stuff. But it's not a general rule, and I think most of us know this. So somebody said he's a lawyer. How many cases did he win? He just graduated from law school, so he's not even a lawyer yet. Um, so he hasn't even practiced law yet. So let's see. Somebody said black women never a date down, and I don't think that's true. Yeah, so this person, Archer, said black women think having a job makes them more of a better option, but the truth is men don't care about money, the money that women have. And to some extent that's true. Like I hear what you're saying, like about, you know, a lot of men aren't thinking, oh, this woman better have this amount of money stacked up. A lot of men don't think like that. Like that's not the man's, a lot of men's focus. Like initially, the first thing that a man is thinking about is like whether or not they're attracted to the woman, like if she's very attractive and all that kind of stuff, and her personality. A lot of times it's about the personality and whether or not they get along and all that kind of stuff. So, hold on one second. Yeah, so I hear what you're saying. So somebody said, real Aaron Collins said he seems somewhat on point about what he's saying. He's on point about the statistics and all that kind of stuff, but he's not on point about the idea that simply because he has some law degree, then all of a sudden that alone makes him some kind of prize. So let's see. So Evans said, has anyone considered that he may have been just trolling? Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, that's something that's true. Yeah, Nappy Yankee said he better get a great job because unless he has a scholarship, those financial aid bills. Yeah, that's something else. Like even though you have like this fancy law degree, when you paying back those student loans, you're not balling like that. So the real Aaron Collins says it's been a long time. No, I've been doing videos like here and there. Like I did a video the other day. I'm back doing these videos, but as you all know, many of you know, I've been super busy with this campaign and everything. It's consumed a lot of my time, so I haven't had time to do videos as regularly as I usually do. But I appreciate people tuning in. So I see somebody is going on about obese women. I'm not going to dignify that with a comment because that's going to bring it into a whole nother discussion. Somebody said many of these women should be pursuing him. The women were the ones. Okay, so hopefully you all can see me now. Something's wrong with the internet for some reason, and I'm not even connected to the Wi-Fi. But just bear with me. So he said many of these women should be pursuing him. The women were the ones who created this "I'm a prize" trope. He was just giving back to them what they're telling us. Now everyone has smoked for him. So yeah, I mean it's one thing to be confident. It's another thing to be arrogant. As I said before, and having a degree alone doesn't make somebody a prize. Somebody can have a degree and be an asshole or a jerk or something like that, just to be blunt. Somebody can have a degree and have no personality. Somebody can have a degree and no sense of humor. Somebody can have a degree and still not be that intelligent. So, or not have a great personality, not being a caring person and stuff like that. So a degree is just that, a degree. It does that alone doesn't make somebody some kind of prize. And the fact that somebody doesn't have kids or hasn't gone to jail, those are not things that necessarily make somebody a prize. Those are things that some people may say, "Oh, that's a good thing," but that alone doesn't make somebody the uh, yeah, I see my internet's buffering, so I'm gonna have to cut this short. I want to thank you all for tuning